Welcome to Puny Pod's Monthly Bugle for May 2025. My name is Ryan, and my co-host, as always, is David. David, how are we doing this evening?
Well, if by we you mean me, I am doing pretty well. I had a fun park visit last week for a couple days for Star Wars Night.
Heck yeah, dude.
I saw the Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
which
Did you
we
get
might get
out?
into.
Did you get out and celebrate Free Comic Book Day at all?
Dude, I did not celebrate Free Comic Book Day. I
Ah,
know it was on the. I did not do. Did you?
I did. I got out to a local comic book shop here. It's one I had not gone to before, called Heroes and Horrors in Windsor, Colorado. It was super fun. They had there were some pretty fun comics out from folks beyond just Marvel. I picked up a bunch of the Marvel stuff, of course. But they had some kiddie books that I could pick up for Ted. So like a Dr. Seuss comic book, which was kind of fun. They also had some like adult ones that I picked up. So I picked up like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like biography comic, which
I love it.
yeah. And 2000 AD comic, which for those not familiar, that's where Judge Dredd comes from. It's 2000 AD, so
I thought you were originally going to say Little Doctor Strange, and I was like, I don't know if that's really a child's book, but
oh man. Yeah, so yeah, it was fun. We got Ted got to pick. He has Captain America, Hulk, and Spider-Man costumes, and he picked Spider-Man for this one. So he got to dress up in his Spidey costume and go pick out some comics.
that's super fun.
Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure, for sure. And like you said, we're coming off the back of um Thunderbolts. We just recorded and released WandaVision. Um, I've got some news that I still can't share with the the fans, but
God, okay, you're getting a soundboard. It's great. It's fine. Let's move on. Let's go meet up with Eric and get your free soundboard. Good
yeah, right.
word. I'm just kidding.
Actually, listeners, by the time you hear this episode, you might know the news. I don't know. It's supposed to be sometime the week that we'll release this episode. So keep an eye on my new Instagram. It is Tomorrowland Travel Authority. That's my new public Instagram. So keep an eye there for some exciting announcements that I will be able to announce here very, very soon. And
Wait, did you join the TVA?
yeah, no, the TTA. Um, so
You need to get a Miss Minutes. We need to like get Miss Minutes dialed up.
well,
Hi, y'all. Welcome to the TTA.
and that is a good time for me to mention that Miss Minutes will be in this episode because we do have some spoilers ahead of us. So we are going to, here at the beginning, we will review Thunderbolts, we will review Daredevil Born Again, and so that we don't lock ourselves into any sort of like spoiler issues, I will edit in here in just a minute once I kind of I'm done giving this spiel. Just listen for editing Bay Ryan. He'll pop in and he'll tell you what timestamps to jump to miss anything about Thunderbolts and to miss anything about Daredevil Born Again. That way you can enjoy the whole rest of the episode. Just
Which,
avoid the
which,
spoilers.
which will basically be the outro.
Right. It is a little bit of a slow news week here in Marvel. Of course, day that we are recording here is the Disney earnings call where they announced that they are entering into a partnership to build a seventh destination in Abu Dhabi, which is absolutely bonkers, and I have some strong opinions on, but yeah, David, that's the
That's
news.
the news.
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the thing. As a California resident, knowing the struggles that the parks have had dealing with the city of Anaheim in Orange County, it is good to know that they are going to build a park in a country that values safety and respects human rights and is welcome, unlike the regime of Florida, to
Oh,
the. I'm just kidding.
yeah.
I did not hear the news. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. The good news, and I know we're not a parks podcast, but I will mention the good news. My own take is the silver lining is Disney is putting in no money into this park. This is the bill is being 100% footed by, I believe it's Mural, which is they built the WB park in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. They built SeaWorld, they built Ferrari World, they built all kinds of stuff over there already. And so I think, the silver lining here is for Disney, for parks fans in the US, cross your fingers that that just means a whole bunch of cash and not as many things getting canceled because of budget cuts that are going to come because Disney doesn't know how to plan a project unless there's about to be an economic crisis.
So I'm okay. So I think Shanghai is another park that they do not own, that they
Right.
partner and they license stuff to. I
and
think,
and Tokyo, yeah.
and Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo is owned by Oriental Land Company, which is the government of Japan.
Okay. Wait, Hong Kong. You mean Tokyo or you mean Hong Kong?
Tokyo.
Okay, so I thought you said Hong Kong. My bad. Yeah, so it sounds like it's like a license deal. I'll check out the news. I'm obviously interested to hear more about it. Don't love some of the human rights stuff that goes on. Probably mean they get a fair amount of cash,
Yeah.
but I don't know that that's high up on my list of parks to visit internationally.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both. But
Why is my churro at $84?
that's my guess is this is going to be a low visitor rate, high spend kind of.
Lightning Lane is $1,000. What
Yeah.
the? Anyway, all right, whatever.
Well, let's give a place for Ryan, for Editing Bay Ryan, to tap in and tell you where we have spoilers. So I'm going to do that right here. What's up, guys? Hey, it is Editing Bay Ryan here to give you your jump points so that you can avoid all the spoilers. Remember, if you hear Miss Minutes, you hit the right place. First off, if you need to skip Daredevil spoilers, you can skip ahead to 26 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, that's 26 minutes, 15 seconds to avoid all Daredevil spoilers. If you want to avoid Thunderbolts spoilers, you can jump ahead to 44 minutes and 3 seconds. Again, that's 44 minutes, 3 seconds. Enjoy. Cool. All right, David, we're in the spoiler zone, so we can get right into it. What do you want to start with, Daredevil or Thunderbolts?
I'll let the dealer choose which one you start with. We started Daredevil. Why don't we do Daredevil just to kind of wrap that one up since we've started it in the last Bugle.
Okay. Yeah. It really, we just have kind of the finale and our closing thoughts of Daredevil left. So the finale released the day after we recorded the monthly Bugle last month, and I think, did we release that monthly Bugle like right away or something? I don't remember. Oh, we released it on the day that the finale came out. That monthly Bugle came out like the Tuesday that the finale was going to come out.
Yeah, we might have misplanned the timing of the recording.
But all of that aside, we did get the finale. So quick summary. I'll just run this down. And this feels like forever ago that we were watching this.
I pulled this and I was like, wait, this is 9? This is literally like April 15th. Yeah, it's not even, yeah, it's 3 weeks ago.
It's
anyway.
Crazy. So a year earlier to the events of the series, we see Vanessa Fisk visiting Bullseye. Vanessa asks Bullseye to kill Foggy in exchange for his freedom. In the present day, Bullseye escapes the black and white ball. As a reminder, remember episode 8 is where Bullseye made it ended with Bullseye making the attempt on Wilson Fisk's life. So Bullseye escapes the ball while Matt Murdock is hospitalized. Wilson Fisk reveals to Vanessa that he knows she orchestrated Foggy's death. Fisk orders Buck Cashman to kill Murdock and cuts off power to New York City, basically sending everything into chaos. Cashman attempts to kill Murdock at the hospital, but of course, because he's Daredevil, he escapes. He goes and he finds Punisher, aka Frank Castle, back at his office. The anti-vigilante task force arrives at the apartment where Murdock and Castle just absolutely wreck the AVTF. That was so it was so rewarding. And everybody except for Officer Cole North. We learned that Cole North is who killed Hector Ayala, but Matt resists killing him, which causes some conflict, of course, with Frank Castle, who, is
Who just kills people anyway. What about this guy? Bam!
Exactly. Fleeing the apartment, the pair are met by Karen Page, who returns after learning that Bullseye escaped and asks Castle to protect Murdock. Chaos breaks out in the city, perpetuated by the AVTF. Murdock and Page reconnect while they track down Nelson's Red Hook case, discovering that the Fisks are trying to establish a city-state because the Red Hook harbor has kind of some legal loopholes that allows them to kind of write their own laws. Castle fights the AVTF in Red Hook, but is defeated. Officer Connor Powell tries to get them to join him, or tries to get Castle to join them, but he rejects him. That part, oh my goodness. We'll talk about thoughts in a second. Commissioner Gallo, that's a Gallo 12, not Gallo 24 for all my Fast and Furious fans. Attempts to betray Fisk, but is exposed and murdered by Fisk in a brutal scene. Fisk offers Heather Glenn the position of mental health commissioner, which she accepts.
I mean, you kind of have to, right? Like at that point in time, you just killed somebody, squished someone's head like a melon.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, do you want this job? I'm like, sure.
I guess. In a speech, Fisk declares martial law, outlaws vigilantism. Murdock decides to assemble an army to save the city. And we see that Fisk has imprisoned vigilantes in Red Hook, including Jack Duquesne and Frank Castle. And then in a post-credit scene, Frank Castle tricks a prison guard, breaks his arm, and breaks free.
The scene where he was like, "Oh, it's a good name. Good name. Where are you from? Oh, cool. I just want to shake your hand," and then just snaps it like a chicken wing.
Yeah, this finale, they stuck the landing. I feel like they absolutely stuck the landing. And man, so much credit to John Barenthal. Like the acting he does as Frank Castle is incredible. Just the way that he embodies that rage, and like you could just feel it, because the whole AVTF, as as a little bit of a commentary on modern policing, I guess.
Wait, what?
They're all like Punisher fanboys, right?
That's the wild part. He's just like, we love you. And we're just like, no, do you know what I stand for? It's like the people, it's again, not to get too political, it's like the people that like are like, oh man, I can't listen to Rage Against the Machine anymore because they said something bad. Like, have you listened to the words of the songs? If you
right.
if you know anything. Anyway.
Right. By the way, side note to totally out of nowhere, you sent me that video of Disney using Rage Against the Machine in the parks. That is crazy.
That's wild. I will talk. I will. I'll talk about it after this.
Okay. Okay.
I'll do my 3 minutes on Star Wars
Yeah.
after hours, after night,
Okay. Okay.
late night, whatever it's called.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean this episode of Daredevil, um, it was so good, and the season overall was so good, and I think there were two factors that were really important in making it good. And David, tell me how much this rings true or what you think on this, but I think knowing that it had a second season was very important. Um, because it meant that they could securely build things. Um, and I think the other important piece was that this was not burdened by an over connection to the MCU at large. And so like it was more connected to the Netflix series than anything. So it allowed it a little bit of latitude, and it didn't need to move the MCU plot forward necessarily. Eh, which just gave it kind of some freedom to play with the characters a little bit more.
On the second point, I would agree that it does not feel like it's pointing to or building on the MCU, other than see the swordsman in Hawkeye, right?
Right.
We probably will see She-Hulk, I would imagine, maybe
Season
second
2.
half.
Yeah.
I think the way they left it, you could, leaving it on a cliffhanger, whether you want to call it 2 seasons, 1 season broken up to 2, what have you. I thought that overall it did justice to the Netflix version, which I think folks hold in high esteem. And this is going to sound kind of wild. Like I don't know. It was great seeing Karen back. I don't have, because of the relationship he has with the main female protagonist, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Oh, Heather.
Yeah, with Heather. It's there, but it's not there like it is with
Sure.
Karen. And so seeing them investigate and getting just a little almost flashback to Foggy vis-a-vis the case, the Red Hook case, like that was really well done. It had the other thing I liked about it is you see a very injured Daredevil who's been shot in the chest, and I don't know, a day or two later, fighting people effectively, and reminded me a little bit of the scene where he's fighting the people in the hallway in the original Netflix version.
Oh yeah.
And in the dark, and he's just like, he's getting worked, and you can just tell he's just beaten to hell, and he just keeps going at it. But you get the added benefit of John Barenthal, who is there, who has no compunctions about murdering people, and just is like bam, bam. It's great. It was well done. I didn't know what to expect going in. I'd hoped that it would have been in the same vein as the Netflix version, which it was. And I was just like, I'm just hoping they don't like water it down too much for Disney Plus, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think they intentionally, I think Echo was kind of a test. They floated Echo out as like, hey, let's see what a more adult, more violent MCU could do, and then this doubled down on that premise, right? This definitely is more violent than Echo. This is more brutal, which is fitting for Daredevil, right? In the comics and everywhere else, Daredevil is a very brutal character, and not necessarily brutal character, but like his stories are brutal, and there's always a lot of like, it's very high violence, I would say.
Yeah, it is not for the squeamish. I
Yeah.
will say that. If you don't like the sound of a broken bone, all right, maybe turn your volume down on this one.
Yeah.
It does this, and again, not to jump ahead to the Thunderbolts, but the vibe of the Thunderbolts plus this suggests to me that we might be, to your point, turning a corner where we might get slightly more adult-ish
Yeah.
content in terms of language, violence, etc. If you go back and you look at early Marvels, it's very PG. It's G-rated. It's
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You look at like the original Thor and stuff and it um yeah. So yeah, I love this. I'm excited for more of it. I think I think Punisher breaking out probably hints towards his his special presentation that's been heavily rumored. Um I don't think it's been announced officially, but there's a heavily rumored kind of Disney Plus not quite full length feature special presentation for Punisher that should be coming out sometime soon. Um
I think that's right. Here's the question for you. There are 2 open movie slots between now and all the Avengers stuff, right? Like, would you be shocked if they made a Punisher movie?
hmm, I wouldn't be I would be I would be a little bit surprised um just because I don't yes, Daredevil and Wolverine had some violence in it, but it's entirely different, right? Like that's not like that type of violence is entirely different, and so they just haven't done anything like that on the big screen yet. Um I guess now would be the time for it. Now that as I'm talking about this, right? Because they have the upcoming universe reset, right? They have a universe reset coming up. So if something doesn't work, they could just scrap it. And I guess they could take that kind of risk right now. Um
Here's the reasons why you would do it. One, it would not be super expensive.
yeah,
And
100%.
they don't Marvel does not do low budget movies at all. Second, the characters are familiar, so you don't have to do like a big build up. You could you could do a what would probably be wouldn't be a huge revenue generator because it's going to be R rated and you're not going to get as many people to see it. But although Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion, it was R rated. I think the reasons you don't do it is because you have a couple slots left and you really want to spend it on Punisher, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the catch is that like you have um very select availability right
Yeah,
now, and you have to build towards Secret Wars. Like strategically, things have to be building towards Secret Wars and Doomsday.
right.
Um so
And you got to get that Blade movie in one of those 2 slots. Those are the 2 things. I'm kidding. R.I.P. Blade. Do you
No.
want to talk about Fun? Oh, so anyway, what did you? So okay, going back to the show real quick. Wrap up. Then go to Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
How do you thinking about the Disney Plus shows? Right, the Thors. I mean, no, sorry, the Lokis,
Loki's, yeah.
the Agatha, all the stuff. Bottom third, middle third, top third.
I'm gonna say top third, and I know that this is funny because now I'm setting myself a precedent of doing the same thing I just did during the Infinity Saga, where everything's top third. But I do genuinely think, we just talked about WandaVision on the main show, and I think that will probably end up in my top third of Disney Plus shows, and I think this would be in my top third as
which,
well.
which would you put higher?
Yeah,
WandaVision
I would
or
say Daredevil probably
okay?
higher. How about you?
I think both will be in my top third, and I hate to preemptively use too many top thirds because that's when all of a sudden you're like, okay, I guess Loki's middle third. But I don't know. They're so different.
Yeah,
I'm going to put WandaVision above, contingent on seeing what the second half looks like.
that's fair.
Because if they really like blow things out, we won't talk about what we think we might see. We'll wait till we get a little bit closer to it because it's coming out next year. I mean, it could be the best Disney Plus show of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I ultimately they could go the other direction with it too, right? Where it's like oh, here's Ms. Marvel, and it's a will they, won't they sitcom of Ms. Marvel, or not Ms. Marvel, of She-Hulk and Daredevil, and just,
I was gonna say Miss Marvel's might be a little young, but okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, totally. They could blow it up in the second half. I agree. There is an opportunity for that.
Right.
I hope they don't.
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I think we saw pretty good evidence. The episode one was a little clunky. It's funny. I was reading an interview of Charlie Cox, and he said, "Guess which one was his least favorite episode he did?"
Probably number one.
No, number 4, the bank heist.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know if this works. Can you pull off a bank heist in 2025? So much technology, blah blah blah. And then it was like the one of the very highest rated Disney Plus shows, Marvel shows of all time. He's like, oh, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I loved the bank heist episode. So Charlie,
I did too.
Accepted.
Stick to acting, my man. Stay away from production.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give us a second for me to put in missed minutes right here, so that anybody who was just avoiding Daredevil Born Again spoilers can jump in.
Hey there.
All right, let's talk Thunderbolts, T-Bolts, the best.
The Thunder Bees,
The
new
new Avengers. Oh man, okay. So before we get too far into it, I guess just off rip, I want to say that I am absolutely amazed that they are already just going over to the new Avengers name.
I'm not.
Like, really?
I'm not. You like Avengers is like we haven't seen an Avengers film since Endgame, right? You need some Avengers.
You need that.
You need to have that is your foundational group. And we know that there are a lot of different versions of the Avengers. There's the West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers. Now we have the new Avengers. We have the old Avengers. We've got the Avengers fighting over copyright and trademarks. But I am not super shocked because, stated differently, build a roster of Avengers, excluding these. You've got War Machine.
No, and I
right,
should be clear. I'm not surprised that they went the direction of making them the new Avengers. What I mean is, on Monday, they went out and they changed all their billboards. They tore down all the Thunderbolts billboards and they put up new Avengers billboards everywhere. Like, the name of this movie is now * New Avengers. It's no longer Thunderbolts *.
Good for them.
Like, that part of it is what I mean is the marketing side of that, and spoiling the very end, which I understand it doesn't necessarily spoil the end unless somebody told you that it spoils the end. It doesn't actually spoil.
It doesn't spoil anything. It just okay. Spoiler: these people are alive at the end. Great.
Right.
They are going to be in the next movie. Fine. They are somehow rebranded. I think it's brilliant because if I didn't see it opening weekend, I might be curious. Okay, well, how do they turn into the new Avengers? Well,
right.
Now I got to go. Now I have to go see how they turn from like the Suicide Squad 2 to the new Avengers, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Marketing aside, David, what did you think of this movie?
Going in, I think we talked about this. I was guardedly optimistic. I'd heard positive things. Some of the nerd podcasts I listened to, especially ones that went early on, just to get the spoiler free, said the vibe was really good. Joanna Robinson, who wrote The Reign of Marvel Studios, friend of the podcast, Joanna Robinson, please come on. She wrote that this was the best MCU movie since Endgame. And I was like, okay. Because there's some pretty good movies. They're not like Black Panther, Infinity War. Like, there's some good ones. Guardians 2, Black Panther 2, Shang-Chi.
Guardians 3, yeah.
Guardians 3, sorry, yes. Thank you.
Spider-Man 3, which I guess she did not include. She did not include Spider-Man.
The Marvels. I'm kidding. And in hindsight, yeah, probably is the best the second half of the back nine, to use a golf analogy.
Yeah, I agree. The movie had really deep, like deeply touching moments, but not and I think something that it differs from like Guardians 3 was where like there's a lot of conversation of gratuitous violence in movies, right? And Guardians 3 didn't necessarily have gratuitous violence, but it had like gratuitous gut wrench, right? Gratuitous emotion almost. This was not. This was like
Guardians 3, you mean?
Guardians 3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas Thunderbolts did not have it wasn't gratuitous, right? It didn't they showed us some very emotional pieces, some very, very touching scenes, um, and they weren't punctuated with a laugh every time. Sometimes they were, but, like, they were done in this, like, really, really great way that made you invested in these characters that, like, why would you care
Right.
otherwise? Um, and yeah, I thought it was I loved the movie, and I would love to I wish this was the one that had come out while I was on my cruise, because
How many times would you see it?
oh, I would see it so many times, dude. But I thought this was really good. The couple of things, just quick criticisms I wanna mention. I do wish that during like, trauma room scene where, uh, Void has fully taken over Sentry and he's taking over New York, I kinda wish that they had explored somebody else's backstory other than just Yelena's, because we know enough of Yelena's to where, like, it's like, okay, this is a little bit of a rehash, and I don't think we would have needed Bucky's, but it would have been cool to maybe see some parts of Ghost's backstory that we haven't seen,
Right.
or like John Walker's, give John Walker some depth of character. Although I think he works best without being a very deep character. He just works as being the asshole. Uh,
Right.
language, sorry, but yeah.
It's fine. Whatever. Kids have seen it. It's fine. No, I think that's right. I mean, that's a mild criticism, but I get the part where you don't have to have one for everyone, maybe, but I think I feel enough of the Red Guardian vibe where, like, I don't need to know about his, upbringing as much. You need it for Yelena, who's obviously one of the focal points of the group. And, I was surprised at how well done it was. It was well paced. What it did, which a lot of Marvel movies haven't done for a while, like, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought there was
Come on,
real
math.
I thought there was real chemistry, which
Yeah.
sometimes you don't see necessarily. I thought David Harbour seemed to be having a great time. I've always felt that Sebastian Stan was a very underrated member of the MCU, and always wanted to see more of him.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about that because we were watching some interviews, like some of the press the cast was doing, and they all seemed to love each other. But one of the things I realized was like Sebastian Stan has actually been in the MCU sort of the longest right now. Obviously not like Samuel L. Jackson notwithstanding, but like Sebastian Stan's been around the MCU since Cap 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so like especially in this movie, you have a bunch of like one or two time appearances, right? Or first time appearances. And then Sebastian Stan, who's been in like half a dozen of these MCU movies, so he really is the elder statesman for this movie.
He's the Tony Stark glue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's the thing that Tony, Nick Fury, whomever, right? The person that has been there the longest, who has seen all this stuff. I will, as an aside, read an article by Sebastian Stan. There was interview, and he talked about his least favorite scene in the movie. And can you guess what it was
Um
that he was in?
Was it the truck scene?
No. It's the dishwasher and the arm scene. The arm
Oh,
and the dishwasher scene is just like, this is stupid. Why are we doing it? Like,
that's fair.
anyway, no, he's really good. I would love to see more of him. I'm really excited for this next iteration because what was supposed to be the newer Avengers, right? If you go back to End of Ultron, right?
Uh-huh.
They're in the scene, and it's supposed to be Spider-Man missing, right?
Right.
Rhodey. Let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. It is Cap. It is Black Widow. Rhodey, missing Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Wanda, Falcon. Who else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone.
Well, I mean, because Captain Marvel's filmed a plate, but was not in the actual movie.
She was not. But I mean, that was supposed to be in Black Panther. I mean, that was supposed to be the new Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman sadly passes away. The team kind of changes. We haven't seen Shang-Chi in 4 or 5 years. And so now if you were doing it, if they were to say, hey, we're going to do a new Avengers movie. All right. So it's a 60-year-old Cheadle. It's maybe Doctor Strange. It's Spider-Man's probably not in it. Thor's not in it. Hulk's probably not in it. So it's like like what is the team? You know what I mean? So I really, really, really enjoyed the movie. I was sad when it was over. I enjoyed the characters. I cannot wait to rewatch, and do the episode. So we just break out the Red Guardian accents the entire time. I am
Oh my gosh.
500% ready for that.
And I do want to be specific, right? New Avengers is a specific team within the MCU, so it's not just like adjective new, right? It's new the same way West Coast Avengers or Young Avengers or Dark Avengers or any of those. Like that is a separate Avengers group within the comic continuity, and obviously they're doing it here too. Who's on Sam's Avengers at this point?
Well, that's the question. That's kind of what you're saying. Okay, Sam, and again, tough beat for Sam. Like finding the trademark, bring in the lawyers to fight over the name, but it's maybe Rhodey.
Yeah, I mean he has Joaquin, right? He has Joaquin as Falcon. So he's got a captain, he's got a Falcon. Maybe Rhodey. Maybe
Hawkeye, probably not. Not Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He's
Especially now that Jeremy Renner said that Jeremy Renner's now coming out anti-Marvel.
Did he?
Yeah, sort of. Essentially, he came out and said that he turned down Hawkeye season 2 because they were offering him half as much as he was getting paid for Hawkeye season 1. I think his quote was something like, "I may have gotten torn in half on that driveway, but I'm not half the person I was." Something like that.
Okay, so all right. As an aside, I think for Hawkeye season 1, what I had seen was he made 15 million.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I can suck it up for like 6 weeks of acting to like make 8 million. Like anyway, whatever. It's fine.
But yeah, so yeah, I think you're right. It's probably some sort of super suit now. I don't think it's Ironheart because I think Ironheart will be in the Young Avengers. And maybe I just stumbled into some part of the Doomsday story is there's going to be all these fractured Avengers groups, right? We're going to have Sam's Avengers, we're going to have the New Avengers, we're going to have a West Coast Avengers, we're going to have a Young Avengers. We're going to have all these like fractured Avengers groups, and I could see that maybe being a storyline within Doomsday, but I think Shang-Chi is probably on Sam's Avengers squad.
Shuri, maybe not. Yeah. She might be with.
She might be young. She might go Young Avengers.
She might be like go with the White Wolf. Go with that team, right?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question, interesting roster. I mean, you still have the Guardians out there. You still have the OG Avengers
right now,
right? Like, but folks who are on Earth who fought as part of the Avengers or who are in the Avengers. It's kind of a thin bench. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like I think of the OG Well, and if you go way back, OG6, Hawkeye is mostly in retirement. You have Kate Bishop, Hawkeye taking over. Black Widow's dead. Hulk is still active. You have Hulk. Tony's dead. Cap is dead. Or presumably dead. And Thor is, maybe he'll come back. We know Chris Hemsworth's coming back. We know Thor's coming back to Doomsday. I don't know that he's part of the Avengers, though. I think he's
Maybe
going to
not.
turn around with, he and Love are out there saving the galaxy, and I think his role in Doomsday is to go pick up Loki out of the multiverse.
I can see that. But you've got Hulk, you have Hulkling, you have She-Hulk. I mean, there's people to fill it out, but yeah, thin roster. So I got great movie, loved it, no complaints.
Yes, absolutely loved it. It is hilarious to me to go back to some of our predictions real quick. So the asterisk, neither of us knew that it was going to be New Avengers. I think I did say maybe they can't keep the name. The vehicle for them not keeping the name was not necessarily correct. It had nothing to do with Thunderbolt Ross.
We weren't that far off, though. We felt like the asterisk was something, might be something that has nothing to do.
Being able to keep the name, yeah.
Right.
And then Taskmaster's death. I said first act, but I went out and I said that they'd like bring in a new Taskmaster. First act is I think understating it a little bit. I think she was dead in the first 15 minutes. I don't know exactly what the runtime was, but she got capped real early.
I was barely settled in my seat and she got killed. I knew she would get killed early. I said second, third just to be contrarian, but like you knew she was getting capped early on. I didn't realize it was gonna be that soon.
It's funny to me because I bought the like commemorative take home cup.
Okay.
These I usually do for these movies. Like when I go to see it in the theater, I'll buy the like plastic cup. It's my water cup at night or whatever. It has Taskmaster on it. And all the marketing still has Taskmaster in it, and I'm just like,
she's at the premieres.
It's wild.
I feel a little bad for her, but you know what? She got paid. Like, what does she care? Like,
yeah, I'm sure she got paid, and I do hope that they can bring the Taskmaster back in, like, because Taskmaster is kind of a fun character. I love the mimicry times or like skill set and that sort of stuff. That's pretty fun, and so I think Taskmaster is a fun character, and in the comics often Taskmaster interacts with Daredevil, which is a really fun little combo. So I'd love to see that, come back around at some point.
it's a fun idea, and I can see what you're saying, how it's just a new Taskmaster, and instead, the abilities are maybe built into his or her suit instead of some sort of superpower per se. I don't know.
All right. Well, anything else to say about Thunderbolts before we break out from under the spoiler allowance here?
I will take my spoiler hat off, and I will ready to go on the next.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to leave a quick second for the spoiler warning to come in here.
Thanks for visiting the TBA.
Cool. So yeah, David, you had mentioned you went to the parks and you did Star Wars night at the parks, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit because we didn't say that we were going to talk about this, but did you want to talk about that experience at all, or how that was?
Sure. Yeah. I could talk about how I missed Red Guardian in the parks.
Yeah, right.
So my son and I went down for Star Wars night. The May the 4th was well long gone. Like those are sold first day. So figure out, okay, we'll go down on Thursday, come back Friday. We hit DCA in the daytime, figuring that once Disney closes, it's going to be a madhouse. So scratched all the Marvel itch that day. Did not see Red Guardian. I'm trying to think what heroes we saw. Oh, saw Captain Marvel and another, I can't remember who else it was, but like saw some folks. It was great. Had a fun time on that side of the park. Didn't have fun. Ate way too many bao buns and pot stickers. It was great. Took a little break, got some caffeine, put on our Jedi costumes, went to the Disneyland After Dark. The main thing I wanted to see, they have they project on the Batu kind of mountains, if you will, the rock formations.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the Millennium Falcon.
Fire of the Force or something like that, yeah.
It's this, I think they call it Skywalker Saga or Skywalker Story, but basically they project kind of a movie, but it's a little bit more than that because like at points in time it simulates like the rocks are crumbling and stuff. That started at 9. We got there, I want to say like 8:20.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey man, I'm going to go pick up some mobile order food. And I look behind me, there's a bunch of people behind me. And I'm like, oh, I have to change my window because I can't get out. There are so many people here. So we wait. It starts at like 9:01. And it's probably, I think it's about 13-14 minutes. I actually recorded a fair amount of it. You can find it online, a much better copy than what I had. At the end, hundreds of Star Wars people dressed up Star Wars, and I saw some amazing costumes. I can't begin to describe them all. Bunch of lightsabers get lit up, people losing their minds.
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun. After that, I think my favorite costume, I don't know if you remember in episode 4, there's a costume worn by someone in the Empire who's like firing up the Death Star, and he's got the weird
the like black.
Yeah. And there are people wearing that.
That's
and
awesome.
I swear to God, I thought they were cast members. It was just like, man, you have nailed it. We hit some rides. They did on the water by the riverboat, where the riverboats go.
Oh, okay. Rivers of America.
They have a floating barge which had the band from episode 4 from the cantina playing songs. The
Jizz Band.
That's
actually the name of that band. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's their. Yep.
It's a little dirty, but I'll accept it. Saw that. Went on some rides. We made our way over. There were a couple things we wanted to see. There were I'll come to the meet and greets in a second. As we cut through, so imagine you're cutting through Frontierland, and we're kind of getting to downtown Disney. Oh no, I'm sorry, Main Street Disney. Apologies, not downtown. And that's where they have like a DJ just playing music. And I thought it was going to be like Star Wars music or I thought it was going to be Disney music. And I pull up and I hear music, a very distinct song, which I know very well. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Rage Against the Machine. I'm sorry you're going to have to edit that out, but that was my exact reaction. And it's, I think it was Killing in the Name Of. And I was like, I'm just in my mind, I have this weird existential moment where 3 of my very favorite things, the Venn diagram, are now overlapping. I'm at Disneyland. It is Star Wars night, and they're playing Rage Against the Machine, and I am recording it. And it's surreal. Like, it is not a very Disneyland song. It is an police law enforcement song, and but whatever, love it. This is great.
That's awesome.
As we're walking the next thing, then Kid Rock's "Ba Wada Ba" comes on. I'm just like, okay, well,
that's a playlist.
clearly, someone cranked out my 2004 playlist from my iPod. Then we went over to Tomorrowland. we got on because it's after hours. There's no lines for everything. So we hop on Star Tours. And it was the first time, it was a theme I had not seen before, but you get to see, there's Darth Vader, but you get to, there's a scene where like you are in front of the, like the unfinished Death Star and you fly into it. And it was really cool. That was very fun. Left that. So there was some character meet and greet. So in the, like the little dance pavilion area that's outside of the burger place in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, that used to be the Jedi stage.
It used to be a Jedi stage. They had 3 robot. They had, I think it was Red R5 unit, R2D2, and BB-8. And you could like quickly kind of pose next to photos with them and kind of keep moving on.
Nice.
Then the Star Wars launch bay, we're like, okay, well, let's go see what's going on here. They basically sort you into 2 lines. Are you with the dark side or the light side? Looking at the lines, it's like, well, we'll say we're on the light side. It was a very long line to do character meet and greets, and it's Darth Vader and some other folks, and I'm like, dude, it's like 11:45. I'm not waiting for this for an hour, so we bail on that. Got on some rides. I think it was around 12:20 or so. We're like, all right, it's time to head in. So that was the night. It was super fun. I would completely do it again.
That's awesome, man. That sounds like it was a blast. The music playlist sounds absolutely wild. That blows me away, and yeah.
I would love to get a complete playlist. Now that's what I'm gonna do after I hang up with you, which is like, okay, what other songs did they play? Like,
right?
They play some Public Enemy. Jesus,
Right?
what's happening here?
How far did we bounce back and forth?
Anyway, it was super fun. I would recommend folks doing it. We did Oogie Boogie Bash one time. It was great. Like, it's a fun time.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Oh, the last thing I was going to say, we did. The last thing we did, there is a stage pavilion that is right outside Toontown. As if you're walking towards, on the right hand side is the
Fantasyland Theater.
Small World in the Fantasyland Theater, and they had a lightsaber academy, and so
nice.
They brought in people, and like my son and I, we debated. We're like, I don't really want to bring a lightsaber on the plane, and then it was cool. You're down there, like, oh man, should have brought a lightsaber on the plane. We look like morons because we're dressed up as Jedis, but like we were undercover, and but they like loaned you the lightsaber so you could practice it. I got a video of my son practicing. It was fun. It was a great time.
Awesome. That sounds like a blast, man. That sounds like a blast. Well, to bring it back to a little bit of Marvel stuff, but stay in the park sphere. You mentioned it slightly there, but we have a new character in Avengers Campus, and it's been a little bit since we got one. I think the last new character we got was probably all the way back, maybe at Loki.
No, it's New Cap.
New Cap was there though before Captain Winter Soldier came out, or it was there at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So you think it was new Loki?
Yeah, new version of Loki. I don't know. It's been a while since there's been a new character introduced at maybe it was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, they were there. Yep.
But we got Red Guardian, which I think is a super fun choice for a character, and I've been seeing the videos of him in the park. I saw David Harbour actually went to the park and met Red Guardian. He looks great. He's got a big full beard, and you know, they pit the friends of Red Guardian that they're picking look the part and absolutely have this big boisterous energy about them, which is super fun. And I think, you know, of everybody in Thunderbolts, he's probably the right choice of all of them to kind of go in. I think White Widow might be fun, right? Yelena getting in there, she could kind of be a little silly. But I think like Red Guardian, super duper fun, and there's some great interactions that I've been seeing pop up. So I'm sad you didn't get to see him, but yeah, get to the park soon. I mean, if this movie keeps doing well, I'm sure that he'll stick around for a while. but I definitely would say get in there and go check them out for sure.
It's funny. I'm looking at a Disney blog. They were talking about the Avengers Campus characters, and what is so funny is like all the cast members. I know all these. I don't know them personally. I've seen them all.
Yeah.
I've seen Falcon. I've seen Loki and Thor and Captain Marvel and like
That's funny.
Doctor Strange. It's so funny. Anyway,
yeah. But yeah, so definitely go check those out. Go to the parks. If you're going to the parks, call 856 Our Ears. That's Concy Ears. They work with the network a bunch, and they can get you set up to make sure you get into the parks and have a good time. Let's see here. We'll close out with a little bit of comics news. So looking at the comics that got released on Marvel Unlimited. So I do want to mention the free comic book day titles are already up on Marvel Unlimited, which is super nice. Last year they did the 3-month delay, which they do for all other titles, and so it was kind of crappy because like it meant that like these free comics that maybe somebody missed out on going to their local comic book shop or whatever, they had to wait 3 months to see them. And obviously that's not the best. So these are out on Marvel Unlimited now. So if you missed any of them or you didn't get out to your comic book shop, you can go check out Marvel Unlimited and you can get those. I will also mention just a couple other highlights that I pulled out. There are a ton of solo books right now that are under 10 issues in. So if you have a favorite character or a favorite group of characters that you want to get into, go to Marvel Unlimited, look at the recent releases. There is a good chance that somebody, at least tangentially related to your favorite character you want to get into, has a series out that's, less than 10 episodes or 10 issues in, easy to catch up on. So it's a great time to get into reading some comics. There were some new Star Wars titles released. So New Legacy, I think that one is, I want to say that is Civil War, so Galactic Civil War era, different group of rebels. Jedi Knights, which looked to be like episodes 1 through 3 era. Legacy of Vader, which looks to be based around Kylo Ren, and then a High Republic era book called Fear of the Jedi. Those all got number ones in the last month. And then they're doing right now in the what ifs, they're doing a series of what ifs that are all what if Galactus transformed, insert character here. So they're taking a bunch of characters like Moon Knight and Spider-Gwen, and talking about like if they became the Herald of Galactus. So kind of a fun little what if proposition that you can get into.
What if Taskmaster lived beyond the end of? Kidding. No, those all sound really interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool time to read comics. I think, the Ultimate Universe, the new Ultimate Universe is spinning back up. So if you want a universe that doesn't have a very deep lore, there's that for you. There's, like I say, there's a ton of solo books. If you just want to read about your favorite character doing cool stuff, there's a ton of solo books out there right now. I think it's a great time to get into comics if you weren't already. So go check it out. David, go ahead and close us out with anniversaries, and then I'll do the outro.
May's a pretty popular month for MCU. When usually it's the release of a show or movie. Like some months are heavier than others. Looking at the list, May is, you could tell that Marvel just has the opening weekend of May locked up. 2008, May 2nd, Iron Man comes out. 2 years later, May 7th, 2010, Iron Man 2 comes out. Year after that, literally every year, with the exception of a few, which I'll talk about. Thor, May 6th, 2011. Avengers, May 4th, 2012. Iron Man 3, May 3rd, 2013. Nothing in 2014 because they moved Captain America, the Winter Soldier, up into April. Age of Ultron, May 1st, 2015. Captain America Civil War, May 6th, 2016. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, May 5th, 2017. Didn't get anything in 1819 because Infinity War and Endgame got moved up to April. Nothing in 2021 and 2021 because of the pandemic. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came out May 6, 2022. That seems like a long time ago. It's just 3 years, which is kind of crazy.
That COVID time warp, man.
You're not kidding. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out May 5th, 2023, so 2 years ago. Nothing in 2024 because of the writer and actor strikes. We only got the one Deadpool Wolverine last year. And then Thunderbolts, * New Avengers, May 2nd, 2025. So those are your MCU anniversaries.
Heck yeah. May, like, and I don't know if they chose it in conjunction with Free Comic Book Day or what, but that last weekend of April, first weekend of May, we all know that we're gonna have a good time at the movies.
I think they do it, and so it's kind of like they've scoped it out. It's before like the June, July release stuff. They can dominate into May. School starts to get out. You start to watch a second time. And that's just how all those films, looking at the list, most of them done very well financially. So
yeah, they're not releasing on a holiday weekend, but they can get kind of that like extra leg to the run when Memorial Day hits. And Yeah, it's a sweet spot, and we look forward to it every year. And so, real quick, something I forgot to do, kind of up at the top, I do want to make mention here in a year where we have so much content coming out. Couple of Marvel things that are coming up, not before our next monthly bugle, but just coming up soon. We have Ironheart, which is coming out in June. I thought it was later in the year, but I missed a bump up announcement or something about it, but it is in June. So we've got Ironheart coming out, and then Fantastic Four in July. So very exciting stuff there. Very much looking forward to that. With that all being said, check out Puny Pod on all of your social medias of choice, including Blue Sky. You will get show announcements or episode announcements on Blue Sky now. So check us out wherever your fine social medias are found. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, you can find my personal social media at Tomorrowland Travel Authority. And yeah, other than that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to a different version of myself, not even editing bay Ryan. This is just weird other Ryan who likes to interrupt the show sometimes. What's up, everyone? It's Ryan from Puny Pod. I am here interrupting the Ears Up Network show that you are already listening to take a look at what's happening around the rest of the network. First up, we'll talk about my show, Puny Pod. We just did a monthly bugle where we previewed the Thunderbolts, we previewed Free Comic Book Day, and we reviewed Daredevil Born Again. Coming up this month, we've got our WandaVision review, as well as our review of Thunderbolts in our monthly bugle episode. Moving over to the namesake for the network, Ears Up, they have a couple of really great episodes giving some history of some characters within the Disney story. Bill Evans, who was responsible for the early landscaping of Disneyland, and Rennie Bardot, the man who photographed Walt Disney. Moving over to Bantha Milk, they have their first Andor review up now, and they will be continuing to review Andor as it comes out. They also have a special Around the Dejarik table coming out all about Andor. It's Andor season over there. Scraping the Vault is resting up before they head into the Tinkerverse. And last but certainly not least, we have Supreme Resort. They just released Wheel of Clickbaity Garbage plus Epic Universe Reaction Vlog Reactions. Coming up soon, they have Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular versus everyone's favorite Disneyland stunt show, Waterworld at Universal Studios Hollywood. And soon, the Harrison comparison. I wonder what that'll be about. Anyway, back to the show you are listening to. Thank you, Weird Other Ryan, for telling us what's going on the rest of the network. Check out the Patreon. I should be getting. I've slacked on getting Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift super secret spoiler show edited, but I'll get it up soon. I promise.
No, man, don't rush, man. Like, you know what? Here's the thing. It's up here in our brains, and that is the most important thing, more so than anything else. It doesn't have. There's certain things it could just be our little secret, right?
Yeah, like the joke that I have to edit out, which is what's causing me all the time to do it.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No. But yeah, check out the Patreon. Listen to all the shows on there, especially our show and the Supreme Resort After Hours. I think if you like our brand of humor, you'll definitely like After Hours. So go check that out. Our next main show will be Falcon or Captain and the Winter Soldier. Check us out there. Enough said.